Hoy there, it's Skyward Shield. Welcome to Football Talks. I'm joined by Bill. Say hello, Bill.
Hey, hey!
Today we have Week 15. Only 3 weeks of regular season football. Bill, time has ran so fast. I would. It feels like it's only Week 10.
The NFL season always goes way too fast. Way too fast.
Yeah, but it's coming down to the wire, and every game matters now. To be fair, every game always matters. All of them do.
Yep.
But these especially for those who are just rushing in for a spot. Because basically, if the Patriots or the Broncos win one more game, and if the Colts do, they clinch a playoff spot. In fact, if the Colts beat the Texans, they clinch their division. I think they already did. I think because they beat the Browns, they clinched the division. They'd have to bomb their last 3 weeks, which you won't bomb to the Titans.
I think they needed the Texans to lose in the last week.
They did.
Last week's game.
They did. That's why this game has so much importance in the AFC South.
Oh yeah.
But we'll get to that when we get to that. But that's just something to note. If the following teams will clinch a playoff spot, because that's what we're talking about this week later. If they win one more game, hold on, wait, what's coming up? No, I'm good. Okay, so yeah, something showed up. It was telling me if I should change my color scheme to basic because I have so much stuff running, which I don't have that much stuff running. In fact,
right.
I'll close a couple programs just to play it safe.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, I mean, they won't see it. People won't see it because I'm going to edit the video out. I'm only showing the video for like 5 seconds when I have my full roster. In fact, Bill, if you want, you can send me take a screenshot of how you're going to predict the thing and send it to me after, and I'll put it in because I want to show off what you have. But anyway, so these following teams will win if they win one more game. They'll clinch a playoff spot no matter what. The Patriots, the Broncos, the Colts, and I believe the Packers. The Lions have to win 2 more at least, which they can easily do that.
Right.
So yeah, that's something to note. So this week is full of importance for a bunch of teams, but again, we'll get to that later. For now, let's recap this week's games. First up was Thursday Night Football, the last Thursday Night Football game I'll care for in this whole season. Dallas nearly got the exact score I wanted as they manhandled the Bears, taking them down 41-28. Bill, if they scored a touchdown, I would have gotten the exact score right, because if you recall, I predicted 45-28 for the final score. 41-28, so close to perfect revenge.
Right. They needed about 6 touchdowns and like a field goal or something like that for your prediction, or 5 touchdowns and 3 field goals. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, seriously, the best thing about that victory was not only did it eliminate Chicago out of the NFC North's hair.
Yeah.
But the other thing about it is that the Chicago Bears just look terrible. They just look bad. You know,
You're okay with that.
I mean, I'm totally fine with this. I mean, a staggering bear is a better thing than a very mean, nasty bear.
Well, I know what
you.
you would enjoy more: a staggering Packer, which may happen in the final week. Who knows?
Yeah, a bunch of cheese set on fire. That's what I would like
Well,
to see.
okay, I'm gonna have a lifetime supply of nacho cheese after that, so I'm cool with it.
Heck yeah, oh man. But, I mean, overall, that game, it was just manhandled by Dallas. Dallas manhandled the Bears. They tamed the Bears and put them in a freaking circus, and they were just running them around all over the place. DeMarco Murray controlled that game. Dez Bryant, though, he needs to be quieted down on the sideline. at the end of that game, when the game was well in hand and they were running the football, he was throwing a tantrum on the sideline. I mean, calm down. Jesus. You know?
Well, there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. I saw Orlando Scandrick doing that, but I think he was happy because he got that game-winning interception.
Exactly. There's a correct way and then there's the incorrect way. You're winning the game and you're running the football down their throats and they can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. They can't stop the run. I mean, you could pick them apart in 40 different ways. But in the end, Dez knows that he's going to get targeted in the offense. It's only a matter of time, you know?
Yeah.
And I just feel it's a detriment to your team if you're throwing a fit like a wild man on the sideline. Just just be calm, and you're winning the game. You're trying to make the playoffs. It's about making the playoffs and going to the Super Bowl. Not only will he get a better contract that way, but I mean, just think of it this way. If he gets to the Super Bowl, he gets a freaking bonus.
Yep. I mean, it was like what I said earlier. There's a right, and you said too. There's a right way and a wrong way. Orlando Scandrick had the best example because you're just excited. You just sealed the game with your action. You know what I mean? I mean,
Exactly.
players act differently. He's the emotional kind. Then you have like Calvin Johnson, who's one of the most quietest wide receivers, which surprises me because I always portrayed wide receivers to be loud. He's only
Yeah.
loud, sure, when he scores and when the game starts, but after that, if I mean, they showed examples. If you go to like the sound effects where they mic up a player, he's usually quiet more than halfway through the game.
Yep. And it kind of shows you why he's the best wide receiver in the league and why Dez Bryant's not the best. Dez Bryant being not the best, and it's the simple fact that he's too demonstrative. His he throws a wrench into his own playing by getting so upset on the sideline that not only does his quarterback start not looking at him, or the quarterback starts looking at him too much and starts trying to force the football in there to him.
I mean, I'll be honest. I think the only person who would control Des Bryant would be Bill Belichick. It's like if you act up in front of Bill Belichick, you're gonna get benched. That would be the only way to keep Des in line because everybody
I'll
knows
I'll
don't fuck with Bill Belichick or Brady
I'll,
or
I'll
Peyton.
put it I'll put it this way: the Patriots and the Broncos wouldn't want him.
Yeah.
I'll be just brutally honest. Des Bryant is not a Bill Belichick guy,
No,
and
I'm just saying that if he was there, they would make him, or else he's gone. I think
yeah,
Des would have been understanding of that since day one.
he would have been cut.
Yeah.
I He would have been cut from day one. I mean, Des Des needs to celebrate the good times and know that he's under a microscope. Every little action is getting picked up by cameras. There's cameras everywhere. You cannot throw a tantrum every game,
Sorry.
gesundheit.
Thanks.
But you can't throw a tantrum every game trying to whine for the football. Just be glad that you got 5 catches for 82 yards. There's a lot of other Dane Sanzenbachers in the world, very talented young players that barely can get any playing time in the NFL. Be thankful that you're not one of them.
Yeah. Anyway, so aside from that, DeMarco Murray had a monstrous day. I think that's his best record ever, or best of the year so far. Don't know, but he had a great day.
Oh yeah, I mean, seriously, he went off. He went off in that game. He had 179 yards rushing in that game. The one area with DeMarco, DeMarco that always scares me And I saw it a few times in the game against the Bears. The Bears were trying to take swipes at the football while he was carrying the football. They were trying to make him fumble. And he was carrying that thing like it was a freaking, plastic bag from a grocery store. He's just swinging it around at his side. I mean, eventually it's going to get poked out of there at a very crucial time. And hopefully it's not during the playoff push because he's on a pace to get to 2,000 yards. I mean, it's looking very grim for 2,000 yards, but it's possible.
With a game like that, it's the possibles now. The possibilities back up again. He just need another game like that, which against the Washington football team, it's possible.
Right.
And the Colts. Let's not forget the Colts because they have the worst run defense since Green Bay, which
True.
we will find out in this week. But
oh man.
anything else to take away from this game, though?
The Chicago offense is in some serious trouble without Brandon Marshall, and you gotta feel sorry for Brandon Marshall after what happened with him. He's made a positive change, and hopefully he gets.
I think that's what
healthy.
sealed the Bears' fate the moment they lost him. Because
I mean, he left in an ambulance.
Yeah, like the team or not, he was one of the key players. I would argue about as much as Forte.
But I mean, overall, it was a good team win by the Dallas Cowboys.
They're guaranteed a winning record.
Yeah, they're guaranteed a winning record. That's the first time under Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
Now they still need to make the playoffs. I think he's getting fired, personally.
Yeah, but it just depends on how he does against the Eagles and how much of a fight you can bring. But since the Eagles were now exposed by the Seattle Seahawks, who knows? Maybe they'll figure out something. But the last thing I want to bring up is, I mentioned it to you before, like after we recorded last week. It's very unlikely that the Dallas Cowboys can keep Dez and DeMarco Murray. So here's the big question: with all that what you've said and all that we've talked about with these two players, who's more valuable to this team, Dez or DeMarco?
DeMarco by a long shot.
And let's hear your reason, because I agree with you.
DeMarco Murray controls the football game. He controls the football game. He's the one that eats up the clock. His when he touches the football, 40 seconds comes off the clock. Dez Bryant does not control the football because he maybe touches the football 6 times a game.
Yeah.
He's a big play threat, but he's only as good as the person throwing him the football. And if he can't get wide open, then there's nothing that's going to happen. The play action off of DeMarco can get him wide open. If he can get a jump ball near the end zone, that's where he makes a difference.
Yeah.
All over the football field, anywhere else, it's DeMarco Murray. It's DeMarco Murray everywhere on the football field, even in the red zone. If you were to tell me between DeMarco Murray and Dez Bryant in the red zone, I would probably go first down, it would be DeMarco, second down would be DeMarco, and third down you can throw a jump ball to Dez. If they were to bottle you up.
I have I have DeMarco too, but my reasoning is a little different because I think that they have almost way too much offensive weapons. And I know Dez is also important, but I think since DeMarco, like you said, he can win you the game because running the football will gouge the defensive line and tire them out. But it will also make make it more easier to throw the ball to somebody like Dez or whoever they have, like Escobar, Williams, and Witten. What?
You know the other thing that would tire out a defense that I don't think is done as much, and I think that Dallas could do very effectively, is hurry up offense, but hurry up offense running the football.
Hmm.
Where you run the football and then you hurry up to the line and run it again. Get those defensive linemen really tired. You want them to not come off that football field, and you want to just keep running it down their throat.
I I think that they can do that, but I'm not so sure if Romo's capable of doing that for so long. I think it's really gonna come down to Romo, but I don't know. He'd have to adapt to it, and I mean they now have like half to buy because they played Thursday night, and then they're
Right,
playing Sunday night, so it could be done.
right. I
So
mean,
I mean if they could, they might have to do it against the Eagles, just basically give them a taste of their own medicine. And it can be done. I think it can be done, especially with this time. But it's the question: will can Romo actually do it for so long? You know what I mean?
right,
Because
right,
you have to beat the Eagles. It's like what I said when those high offensive teams play a massive defensive juggernaut. It ends up going like how the Super Bowl from last year turned out. The defense absolutely manhandled that offense to nothing, and while the defense or Seattle's offense, while not the best in the league, could tear apart the Broncos defense because it was always on the field and it kept getting tired out.
right.
That's how you beat the high offensive teams because they tend to not do both unless you're the Patriots or the Broncos of this year, where they can do both really good.
Yup.
So really, the key to beating the Eagles is like how I said with beating like the Colts or the Packers. You stop them from scoring, and you just make it impossible to get anything done, and you'll just tire out that defense to the point where you'll get 30 or 40 points on the board. Uh,
But even if they do score, make sure it's only field goals.
exactly. You gotta, and that's another thing. You gotta be one of the best teams at the red zone because you saw that, like we mentioned last week, the game between Green Bay and New England was close. I mean, they never got to score a touchdown while they were in the end zone. They were forced to field goals.
And they kept saying that Green Bay dominated that game. Sure, they quote unquote dominated that game, but did they dominate in the red zone?
No.
No, they did not.
And that used to be a problem with the Patriots, so that's a massive improvement. Like,
And and overall, had Jordy Nelson not caught a football and ran it for 70 yards, they don't even win that game.
that
So
touchdown, that was a game changer.
the I mean, overall, I agree with you there.
Yeah. So I think that's what they need to do, but that's especially a note for these two games with Houston and and Dallas, but that's for the picks.
Yep.
So let's move on. Let's move on to your game, Tampa Bay, with Lovie Smith try to take on the Detroit Lions, which it did not go too well for them, as Detroit came out on top and won 34-17. Bill, didn't Matthew Stafford have a great game or what?
Matt Stafford had an amazing game. He picked apart the Tampa defense, which is pretty bad. I won't lie, that's a pretty bad defense they tore apart. But that's what you have to do. In years past, the Lions would always play down to their competition. You know, if they were a 2-10 team, the Lions would play like a 2-10 team, even though they had a winning record. I feel like the team has turned a corner.
Yep.
I feel like the offense has turned a corner. The offense is starting to get healthy. You saw some of the healthy players return and make an impact. Joseph Fourier caught a touchdown in the end zone.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was a interesting moment.
yeah, oh my God. Fourier, oh my God.
Calvin
The,
Johnson did it again. Ran into a cameraman when he got a touchdown.
he just trying to take out cameras, man. I don't know.
I know
Uh,
he's the modest type of player, but man, don't hit the
he's a
old guys.
he's the poor old people. I mean,
So,
but overall, overall, that entire performance, the whole team performance, really, Tampa Bay shouldn't have even had maybe 10 points. I mean, the officiating was calling all sorts of idiotic penalties against the Lions, like normal. And, really, had James Aheadabo not ran the football out of the end zone when he picked off Josh McCown in the end zone, if he would have knelt it, he would have got 20 yards out of that deal in
Yeah,
the
I
end
would
zone.
if I were a defensive player and I picked the ball in the end zone. I'd just kneel. I wouldn't even run it, unless it was literally, unless all my players were on that like on the other side of the out of bounds boundary.
It would have had
I
to
would
be
have got. I
like
would
the
have ran
Red
for it.
Sea. It
Well,
would have had to be like the Red Sea parting, where you have a giant opening.
that's what I'm trying to say.
Don't don't run into opposing players. That's idiotic.
Just kneel down. Don't be like the Raiders where they fumbled the ball, picked it up to run again, and then dropped it, and then a Texan picked it up. Like, dude, you fumbled it, and you're in like a positive yard gain. You just grab it and keep it. Don't. You've got your yards. Just take it. But no,
Yeah.
they tried to go for broke, and look what happened. They went broke. But
Uh,
that was
both both Detroit and Oakland did that, and it drives me nuts.
yeah. They're gonna have to work on that. But I mean, Bill Glover Quinn, it's my boy. He's my secondary boy.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, Golden Tate's my favorite offense. I've got him for Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, you ever
Yeah.
talked about DeMarco Murray or someone else, but I think Golden Tate taking a whole team who lost all their weapons. But I mean, how did he do? Because I didn't hear anything much about him today.
What about Golden Tate?
Yeah, how did he do?
He had like 80 yards receiving. I mean, he's he's quietly having an amazing year, and that's the best thing. Because if you keep focusing on Calvin, Golden Tate's gonna kill you.
Shame on Tampa Bay for single covering Galvin
And
most of the game.
really, look at the team that they have to cover. They have to cover a 6'4" Ebron, a 6'6" Fourier, and like a 6'5" Pettigrew with a 6'3" Calvin Johnson that can jump out of the gym.
Yep.
And then you have the little speedster in Golden Tate that is tough as nails and can run down the field on you at
And
any point in time.
outspeed an entire secondary by himself.
And you have the bruiser and Joy Cabell and the shifty Reggie Bush. That's a recipe for disaster against any defense.
So is Reggie Bush injured again?
He is hurt again.
I swear they should just keep him or save him for that final game for the final week 17 matchup, because I think that's where you really need all your offensive players, and at the very least make Reggie Bush like a decoy.
I mean, to be fair, Theo Riddick has really done well while Reggie's been gone. So I mean, I can see, I can see them
See them what?
doing well
Oh,
without him. I mean, Theo Riddick's basically like Reggie Bush, but he's just not the brand name.
I think again, just keep him. In fact, if you're not going to use him, because if you know you clinch a playoff spot, at the very least, save him for the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I gotcha.
Because like if you know you can't beat Green Bay, which I think it's possible, especially if the Falcons give the Falcons credit. I'm not going to be down about them. They went to Lambeau and nearly pulled off the impossible. The only problem is, why would you onside kick to where Jordy Nelson is? Why would you do that?
Why did they onside kick down the middle and not try to get any air on either one of them?
I would
You know,
I would just think, why not just punt it normally, and then try to stop them at the 20-yard line.
Aaron Rodgers. That you saw what happened, or you might have saw what happened when he, he ran for the first down. That it basically killed the game. I mean, I'd rather have Aaron Rodgers not even be on the field at all. Period.
I'm amazed they kept him on the field at that point. I think it's because they were afraid of a comeback. But I mean, that's why. So I'm thinking just Reggie Bush, preserve him because you need him entirely 100%. Don't risk it. If he's just coming off an injury, give it another week to be safe.
The
But
pa- the Packers defense is pretty bad.
if Matt Ryan and Julio Jones can tear it apart by themselves,
And
that's
and you know that it's gonna be Julio Jones, and Julio Jones isn't even 6'3".
and he's just sprinting through it like it's just a mini obstacle course.
I mean, I the NFC North is going to be an amazing place, but I mean, you're starting that Tampa Bay game. You really started to see Detroit's offense starting to click, and I feel like it's gonna get only better from there.
Yep, I'm saying just focus on these games one at a time. But remember, Green Bay's at the end, and that is going to be a fight for home field advantage. That game is going to be the most important of the whole season.
Oh, jeez.
But I mean, I think it's no matter how you slice it, it's just unlikely that the Bills and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will somehow beat Green Bay. It's just so unlikely. In fact, the I won't be surprised if the Packers don't use Aaron Rodgers that much in that Bills game because even if they lose, it has no importance except for maybe first or second place in the playoffs or first or second seed.
Right.
But because really that game just doesn't matter. If they lost to the Patriots, if Green Bay lost to the Patriots, then it would matter. Every game would matter because Detroit would take over, and if they have a one game up above you in the in at the end of the year, who's going? Guess who's taking that first seed or second seed? But anyway, shall we move on, or do you have anything else to add on?
Nothing else I need to. Nothing else I need to do.
All right.
Nope.
So, moving on. Houston went to Jacksonville with a win or you're out of the playoffs. Because like I mentioned earlier, if Houston loses one more game, the Colts will clinch the division. And no, they
Correct.
did not. The Houston Texans, while contained for the first half, exploded against the Jacksonville Jaguars, giving 20 points unanswered in the second half, winning 27-13 in Jacksonville. Bill, this if as a Texans fan, I was impressed. The defense just shut out the Jacksonville Jaguars at the end of the game. In fact, you mind if I tell you how they did in the first three possessions of the second half? How many yards the Jacksonville Jaguars got?
How many?
First drive, 5 yards, punted. Second drive, no yards, they had to punt. And then at the third run, they were at negative 5 yards and they had to punt. So those 3 drives, nothing. It canceled out.
Good.
That's how I was gonna say Detroit. That's how Houston's defense is supposed to play. Physical, mean, and just not afraid to take a shot at the quarterback.
That's the way all defenses should play. Really, the defensive player of the year is J.J. Watt, period.
It's clinched. It's a given at this point. He had a good game. He didn't get any turnovers because the only turnover was an interception, but
A literal quote from J.J. Watt after the game. He goes, someone asked him about being the NFL MVP. He goes, I don't care about that.
he said it before anyway. He said that if people want him to, then that's how it is. Like
He goes, I don't care about that. All he cares about is winning, and that is the sole focus that any football player should have.
That's what an MVP would say. I don't care.
Exactly.
Like they just want to win. They don't want the only glory they want is the glory of victory. You know what I mean? Or really the glory of a Super Bowl.
The championship chase is always the most glorious thing.
Yep. Houston has never won it, so you never know. But anyway, so let's get the sad news out of the way, though. Andre Johnson got knocked out. He looked like he went unconscious when he got hit by Jacksonville. It was an incomplete pass, but they were trying to say it was a fumble. but he didn't secure the ball and he got hit, and it was a penalty for helmet to helmet, and he went out for the rest of the game with a concussion. This was the first quarter. They lost I think that game just showed just how much Andre Johnson meant, because before he got hit, it looked like he was going to have a phenomenal day.
Yep.
On that drive alone, I think he got about 40 yards, or the first two drives they went for, it was 40 yards, and that was just impressive. But
It was.
I
It was something crazy.
they're going to try and get him ready for the Colts game, hoping he clears the concussion protocols. But if not, I forget who it's going to be, but somebody else will start for him. But I really hope he comes in that game, because they need all the talent they can bring on the offense just to beat the Colts, because this next game has importance. But I mean, we'll get to that in the picks, but just I really hope Andre Johnson is okay, because before the game, like a few days before, he said he wants to be a Texan for life. He wants to play a full 15 years in a Houston uniform. He would not like to play with anyone else. For good reason. Look at how far he got with Houston.
I mean, that's the politically correct answer. To be honest, he'll say that, but I mean, if someone comes along and gives him a decent amount of cash, if it's the New England Patriots coming and they go, Andre Johnson, we want to offer you a 2-year deal to come and play for the Patriots.
That's a winning team, and
And
of course he'd be in there.
I believe that he would go to the Patriots or the Broncos.
The Broncos
Like,
just pick up any talent that was cut off, really. I mean, remember DeMarcus Ware?
yep.
They're just picking up all the talent. Which,
They pick up the scraps. Dallas didn't want him.
big mistake.
He's a Hall of Famer in waiting, and I believe that we know that Denver's gonna be one of the final four.
Oh yeah, that's especially when they get. I mean, they're getting the first week bye.
Oh God.
That's if you're on the first week bye, you're automatically a Final Four player.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I think that they will keep him anyway. I think they will. I'm just hoping, but that's just me as a fan. Fans love him,
Yeah.
and you saw he can catch bullets like with the Tennessee Titans. Did you see that heck of a throw
Yeah.
that Fitzpatrick threw? That was like Ryan Mallett speed, because Mallett throws darts like that and usually, but you can see him jump and catch.
Fitzpatrick's playing really well.
He ran in for a touchdown.
Yep. You don't see that out of Ryan Fitzpatrick too much. I mean, he's a smart guy. I mean,
Harvard.
Harvard graduate. His son's even a freaking smart kid.
Yeah, I schooled everybody. I couldn't do that. Don't ask me. I'd have to get a pencil and paper, and I'll still get it wrong.
Exactly. I mean, seriously, the Texans have a lot of options going into next year. I really feel they're in good shape and they're trending in the right direction.
Bill, I'll be honest. If the Cardinals don't make if the Cardinals don't make the playoffs, I'm pretty sure Jim Caldwell would get Coach of the Year for taking the Lions, who had a very notorious, what I would say is the Cowboys trope, where you would fuck up at the end of the year when you were going so well. Because the Cowboys have always been doing that, and whether they're still going to keep that trend up, we have yet to see. But Detroit has lately has gotten wind of that now, or they've gotten that now. So if they can get him out of that slump, give Caldwell Coach of the Year. But I'll be honest. What?
I mean, I don't see how Caldwell's gonna get Coach of the Year. I just feel like they're gonna look at, oh, it's Jason Garrett. He
No,
because
everybody in the NFL is choosing between Caldwell and Arians. I'm not even kidding. But
it wouldn't surprise me if it's Caldwell. I mean, Caldwell is a calming influence, and Bruce Arians is an offensive mastermind.
yeah, and especially since considering, well, look how injury-ridden the Cardinals are. That's why I said if the Cardinals don't make the playoffs, Caldwell is the best one. But I'm gonna be honest. Even if Houston doesn't get in, if they just get like a 9-7 record, give give Bill O'Brien an honorable mention at the very least, because man, you took a 2-14 team to a winning record or just an average record. I think any of the 2-14 teams like the Titans or the Oakland Raiders would want that any day above a 2-14. You know what? You know what I mean?
Right.
To take a 2-14 team that had massive amounts of talent to a winning record and close to a playoff berth, that just shows you just how much work that he put in. And I'm like, give Bill O'Brien some consideration, man. It's just overshadowed by Bruce Arians and Caldwell, which they have good reason. But
Right.
I don't know. But anyway, so Houston with Arian Foster had a monstrous day in the first half. He ran 56 yards, just breaking through the defensive line, and then just giving the old stiff arm to a safety of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and just powering through for 56 yards in wide open field. That was 88 yards in the first half, then 127 total. I don't know. Arian Foster also capped 1,000 yards. He's on a 1,000-yard record, and he's only played 9 games.
Yeah.
This guy, I think he can last longer than people are predicting. It might, who knows? Him and maybe DeMarco or Le'Veon Bell will show that running backs can last longer than what the NFL believes. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
I mean, really that idea that running backs can't last is a relatively new thing. If you look at Emmitt Smith, if you look at Curtis Martin, if you look at, you know, those running backs, they were around for a while.
exactly. So I think, especially this year, running backs have more importance because you've seen Marshawn Lynch, and now he's being a big headline that he might, because he said he's not going to retire. He wants one more Super Bowl ring. I mean, that's a good mindset. It's like, I want more. So
Yeah, I mean,
it seems likely he'll join some team that wants a big running back. But so you have him. I would say Russell Wilson's practically a running back because he's the 15th best rusher in the league. You're a quarterback
yeah,
and you're the top 15. Man, you got a great running back and then him too. It's like who can you contain? It's hard to for
it
a
just
defensive team.
it just shows you how bad offensive linemen are blocking for the run.
Offensive? You mean defensive?
Offensive linemen, I'm saying the offensive line are allowing people into the backfield hitting running backs and not allowing them to go anywhere. I I feel like with today's NFL, pass blocking offensive linemen are at more of a premium and they're drafted higher, so that way you can have a high powered offense.
Dallas has both, where they can do good for run and for pass, which
Exactly,
you don't
but
get that often talent. So that's why it took so long. And now, especially if Dallas makes the playoffs, Jerry Jones is going to be laughing his ass off at people for laughing at him. Well,
in the olden days, it was pass blocking was always the best thing. But now, or run blocking was always the best thing, and now it's pass blocking. And I feel like a lot of running backs are getting hit in the backfield or not getting any yards because the offensive lineman can't block for them.
they're not trained for it. Whereas, whereas the Cowboys have been training for that for this particular year, where it's the chance to seize a playoff berth. But so I think with players like Arian Foster, DeMarco Murray, Marshawn Lynch, Bell, they're gonna make that statement. Oh, LaShawn McCoy too, where you're gonna have to start considering getting run blockers now.
Exactly.
But I mean, aside from that, Fitzpatrick threw the ball fairly enough to a bunch of people, but mostly he stuck to the run. He didn't get that much yards compared to last week, but that was expected, to be honest. So I mean, J.J. Watt actually came in for an offensive run, but it wasn't him that took it in. It was Arian Foster, who I thought was going to get stuffed. That was 4th and goal, I believe.
Yeah.
And he just stopped, went around, and got that touchdown. It's
That's
incredible.
always a good thing. That was a good run by Arian.
And the last thing I want to make a note of before we go, or go on to New England, man, Andre, um, Alfred Blue got his first touchdown, and I'm so proud of him. I mean, it's his second technically because he got one off of a block punt. But the league won't count it. So he has two touchdowns, but his first as an offensive player makes me proud. And it's like I can't wait to see this guy go places and become that 1-2 punch with Foster.
Yeah.
I'm just looking forward to that, and I just have this big grin whenever I see him go for a while, and people are like blue in the crowd. It sounds like
Right.
boo, but they're saying blue. Trust me. But
Yeah.
anyway, let's move on to the Sunday night football. New England and San Diego had a really good Sunday night football game. I mean, most of them have been blowouts lately, but that one was actually good. For the first half, it was 13-14 with San Diego in the lead, but San Diego just got decimated at the second half with New England just giving unanswered points. It was at the end 23-14, but I'll be honest, it should have been 27-14 because there was a call, and this still bothers me. It was helmet to helmet that a Patriots defensive player hit. I forget who it was. I think his last name was Green. No, I don't know. But anyway, they said he got hit in the helmet. But if you looked at the
Yeah.
replay, it was shoulder to shoulder. But he was barely trying to contain the ball, so it's not a matter of hitting a. I think they were trying to say it was hitting a
A
help.
defenseless receiver.
Yeah, but he was trying to secure the ball, and well, that's what you do when somebody's trying to secure the ball but having trouble. You hit them, and you make them let go, so maybe that's another defensive player who's near you can pick it off, and that's exact. It went according to plan, but the refs just refuse to look at replays like that, especially when there's a giant screen that can show you if you tilt your head up. But they don't want to because they're so convinced they're right because they want to. How did you put it again? That they want to get so many right that they go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. As a referee, if you call everything correctly and you're graded on correctness, so let's just say you throw a flag, they count who threw the flags, and saw the play, and then eventually, and the correct call was made. So the headlinesman also gets graded on the game, and the overall cumulative grade goes out, and whoever is the best of the best goes to the Super Bowl,
Gets a huge
and
bonus.
the referees get a bonus for that.
Yeah. So it's good to bring that up because I think that's what was the goal. But I mean, let's get your head out of your ass and look up, and you'll see the answer. The crowd was right, and oh yeah, that stadium was filled with so many Patriots fans. I was hearing a chanting of defense when the Patriots were on defense right around that time. That shows you
Huh.
how fans of Patriots are dedicated.
Yeah,
But
it also shows you that San Diego is probably going to move to Los Angeles.
that's the thing. But I wonder, is it temporary or permanent? Because I'd rather them stay.
Permanent.
And I'm only saying that because I like the song. Look it up if you have time. San Diego Superchargers. It's a '70s song, but it's so catchy.
Yeah, I mean, the Chargers. The Chargers are one of the few teams rumored to be moving to Los Angeles. I really believe it's between San Diego, St. Louis, and Oakland to move
I'm hoping
there.
it's Oakland because why move the Rams when they're playing really good? They're on a way
If
to an 8-8 season.
I mean, seriously, I don't think the city of Los Angeles will back the Raiders.
I'm guessing they'll back the Chargers more.
They want winners, not losers.
Oh yeah, because they've had
That
losers before.
I mean, to be fair, the Oakland Raiders haven't won anything in 10, 12 years.
Oh, they did this week, Bill, but we'll talk about that in a moment.
Ugh,
The Oakland Raiders beat San Fran. Well, you got it right.
I got it right. I got it right. I didn't think I was gonna get it right, and it didn't look like I was gonna get it right for a little while, but I got it right.
Bill, I'm so glad you persuaded me to jump on that.
Oh man,
Because
seriously, I didn't expect it to happen, but hey, I mean, I kind of thought it was going to happen because Colin Kaepernick's not really a good quarterback,
so
but
so here's the possibility. Since we're on the subject, so it's kind of on the subject because San Diego's going to go to it's going to go to San Fran later. So the Battle of California was this year, where every California team plays each other.
Correct.
Oakland beats San Fran. And if San Diego beats San Fran too, guess what? San Francisco is the worst California team. You're worse than the
Yep.
Raiders.
And that's pretty pathetic.
That's so sad. That's about as bad as losing to the Titans.
It is. It is.
Which the Chiefs, look, think of it this way: the Chiefs have lost to two of the worst teams in the NFL. The Titans in the first game, and then the Raiders. They don't deserve a playoff spot.
They really don't.
But that's just a little bit of a football trivia that we should just have made note of for this year. But anyway, back on the subject. San Diego's not out. In fact, they could lose this week to the Broncos and still be in it. They just got to win their final two, which you got San Fran, which is easy. It's easy to win in that place. Look at the Rams and the Bears. And then you have the Chiefs, which that's going to be a tall order since they beat you at your place, but good as time as any.
Right.
Anyway, so I'm thinking the Patriots aren't going to lose any more games because they have back-to-back-to-back division. But Bill, do you want to play you want to play a game where you just pick a win or a loss off the top of your head? Just say win or loss, no reasons.
Okay.
Hosting the Dolphins.
Win.
At the Jets.
Win.
And hosting the Bills.
Win.
Exactly.
Easy.
Do you have any doubt with any of these games? Because the only one
No.
I would tell you is the Jets, because Rex Ryan is going to go all out against Bill Belichick.
I have zero doubts. If Geno Smith starts at quarterback against New England Patriots, they'll lose 41-0.
I can agree to that. I mean, I think the Patriots have, if they keep this up, they'll clinch that first spot, and it'll be Denver going to the Patriots, and guess who's going to the Super Bowl?
Patriots.
Oh yeah. But we'll
Oh, man.
we'll talk about that when time goes on. So, anything else to note about this game?
Nothing much. It was a really well played game on both sides. Both teams played really well. It felt like a playoff game.
It really had playoff implications, because if the Chargers won this, they'd have such better odds of getting in.
Yep.
But so with that, I mean, I'll agree with you. Great game. I think that was the best game of the whole week because it was close to the end. But anyway,
Right.
So let's move on. Bill, are you ready? It is time for us to talk about playoff spot stuff again. We might talk about it again when we're on the final week, but next week we'll talk about potential draft stuff. Just a little
Mine is subject to change.
Oh, well, all of ours are, because this is the NFL. Things can go way out of proportion.
But starting with my AFC, I have the New England Patriots, the number 1 seed. I have the Denver Broncos, the number 2 seed. Now, the number 3 seed is the Indianapolis Colts. And from here on out is all different from my previous predictions.
Do you have your original predictions somewhere?
I'm pretty sure I had Cincinnati, Miami, and San Diego.
All right. I thought you had the Browns.
No, I had Browns. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't have San
Browns.
Diego. You had the Browns at the 6th seed.
Yeah, I had the Browns at the 6th seed, and it almost came true until Brian Hoyer decided that he didn't want to play.
Yeah,
But-
and we forgot to mention that. Two things big things that happened. Johnny Manziel's finally going to start for the Browns, so we might have to reconsider our picks for them.
Yeah.
And then
But-
Cam Newton got in a car accident. He's probably out for
Yeah.
the rest of the year. So I'm gonna have to consider the Panthers from now on. They had a good backup quarterback when I saw him, but yeah.
Yep. But
Go on.
my number 4 seed is the Baltimore Ravens winning the AFC North.
Somehow, let's be real.
number-
Let's be real. Whoever wins the AFC North, it's gonna be still questionable. Because how do you win in that?
Guess who's facing off against them? The team in second place in that division, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh my god, for the 5th seed.
Yep.
So tell me, whoever wins that bloodbath, who goes where?
the Pittsburgh Steelers and Ravens game, I think, goes to the Denver Broncos.
That's such an honor.
And for the number 6 seed, I have the San Diego Chargers.
And they would play the Colts. That's a good game. I actually have been looking forward to Chargers Colts as a playoff game for a long time.
And then the winner of that would get to the right to go to Massachusetts and gets to play the Patriots.
They get a second helping of manhandled by the Patriots. Volume 2.
Alright,
So my turn?
You got AFC.
For my first AFC spot, I have the New England Patriots at a predicted 13-3, and the Broncos will also be 13-3. But remember, they played each other, and the tiebreaker was that the Patriots beat the Broncos. What was it, like 43-21? So yeah, they got the tiebreaker there. And here's where things get different. I think I had originally the Colts at number 3, and the Steelers. No, the Steelers at number 4, and then I had Miami at number 5. So the Miami Dolphins would go to Pittsburgh, and then at the end I had, for number 6, the Bengals. They would have played the Colts. But no, here's where things get different. For my number 3, I have the Steelers, because I have the Steelers, and my 4th spot, the Colts, tying at 11-5. And the Steelers beat the Colts in that blowout of 6 touchdowns for Ben Roethlisberger. So that's how that's going to be. In my wild cards, my 5th spot is San Diego, because I have to have San Diego playing Indianapolis Colts at 10-6. And here's where I get weird. The want and what I know is going to be. The want is the Texans, but that's a weird case, which I'll explain now. If the Texans, even if they lose to the Colts, they're still in it. Things just have to go really in their favor. The Panthers have to beat the Browns. The Texans have to beat the Ravens. The Steelers have to beat the Chiefs. And then the Browns have to beat the Ravens with Johnny Football, which is what I'm hoping for. Chargers have to beat the Chiefs. And yeah, the Texans have to win against Jacksonville, which that's so easy. So if that happens, the Texans will somehow get in it at the 6th seed, and they play Pittsburgh again. Hopefully it won't end up the same, but anyway, I'll give you my honest pick, who I know who is very likely. Baltimore. Whoever wins that team will not go to Denver, but no, they'll go to play Tom Brady in Foxborough. Which one who would you rather play? Peyton Manning or Tom Brady?
Neither.
You just win one playoff game, and it's like, well, it was a fun ride. See you next year.
You just hope that they get stuck in the airport and are forced to forfeit the game for 3 days.
Yeah, that's how it's going to be. So, Bill, let's go to the NFC.
Alright, here we go. My number 1 seed. Now, think right now, the number 1 seed is currently the Arizona Cardinals.
Yep.
Well, my number 1 seed at the end of the year is the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh man, I would not like that.
My number 2 seed is the Detroit Lions. Alright, Here we go. The 3 seed is the Philadelphia Eagles. The 4 seed, which they don't deserve, is the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, let's just eliminate the NFC South and put Baylor.
I mean, just eliminate the NFC South and just give the Green Bay Packers, who are my 5th seed, a freaking bye week.
Yeah. Oh, I said Baylor, even though, yeah, I know they're a college team. Let's just put a college team in there, like a top 5 college team, because they'd probably fare better than an NFC South
I think
team.
Baylor's offense can score on the Packers' defense.
Probably. Anyway, so who's your 5th seed again?
5th seed is Green Bay.
So they go to Saints, and whoever wins there will go to Detroit?
Correct.
Alright, so who's your 6th?
And the number 6 seed is the Arizona Cardinals. After losing 3 straight games to end the season, they get to go and play the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly, with the right to go play the Seahawks in Seattle.
That's a terrible order. That is a Ew, that is a bad way to go, Bill.
I mean, one side is all birds, and one side is a saint, a freaking cheese packer, and a lion.
I hope he's not allergic to cheese. Anyway, so do you remember your original picks for this one?
I had Seattle, Detroit. I think my number 3
Was
seed
still
was
Philly.
the Philadelphia Eagles. I had the 4 seed was gonna be the Atlanta Falcons.
You'd have doubt in the Falcons now?
I had the Falcons winning the division.
Now you have the Saints, which surprises me.
Uh, Number 5 seed, I thought it was going to be Dallas or Green Bay, one of the two.
I think you had both of them, but I think it was Green Bay going to the Saints and Dallas at
Yeah,
number 6.
yeah, the Dallas Cowboys at number 6. I have the Cowboys
Now out.
not making the playoffs.
That sucks. But
Fair,
it's because
fair,
the NFC South exists, Bill. It's not
exactly.
fair.
I mean, I can see a scenario where Dallas gets in and Arizona does not.
But Dallas has to win 2 of their games.
Correct.
But anyway,
Dallas needs a win against the Eagles, and the Eagles would be in there, and so would Dallas, and the Cardinals wouldn't even be there.
so I have it going almost the exact same way. In fact, I can only remember my first and fourth seed. My original fourth seed, I think, was either the Saints or the Falcons. And then my
Yeah.
fifth seed was Dallas, and the sixth was the Packers. And the
Correct.
Packers would go to Philly, and the Cowboys would go play the Falcons, I believe. And then my
Right.
number one was Detroit, and my number 2 was Arizona. I had Seattle not making the playoffs, but it just looks so likely now. I wanted the curse to continue, but it's not going to happen, Bill. The Seattle Seahawks would have to bomb to not make it.
Right.
But anyway, so mine now are Detroit at the first seed, Dallas at the second seed, because they beat Philly, and Philly will be the one knocked off the playoffs, so you see where this is going.
Right.
Seattle at the third, because they tied, but Dallas beat them. They have a tied record. No, wait, they wouldn't. Cowboys are 12-4. They win out, and Seattle's 11-5.
No.
And I'm sticking with the Falcons, Bill. You got that mindset into me that the
Yep.
Falcons will win the division at 7-9.
I really believe that the Falcons could win the
Bill,
division. That division's practically
here's my reason why. The Saints suck at home games now. If it was the Saints at Atlanta, they could have won, but they didn't. They already played at Atlanta, and the Falcons won in overtime. In Week 16, the Falcons are going to the Saints. The Falcons are going to decimate the Saints.
oh man.
So I have the Falcons winning at 7-9. They're gonna win their last 2 games that are division games. They're gonna have almost a perfect division record. Maybe. Anyway, so I have Cardinals at the 5th seed, and the Packers at the 6th seed, and the the Philadelphia Eagles are gonna get screwed out of a playoff spot, all because they lost to Dallas. So yeah, that's how I've got it.
Possible.
But remember, Bill, after this is done, I want you to send me a screenshot of your of your picks here, so I can
Oh,
see them and post them on the video. Anyway,
oh shit.
so anything else to note aside from the fact that we got that upset pick of Oakland just taking out the San Francisco 49ers, who are on track to be the worst team in California?
What?
You didn't hear me?
No.
Anything else to note about this week, aside from Oakland just beating San Francisco, who is likely to be the worst team in California?
Nothing much really.
The
To be
Rams
honest.
they shut out the Washington football team.
Yeah, I mean, that was to be kind of expected.
Fans chanted for RG3, and now he's coming out because Colt McCoy is injured.
Yeah.
Poor kid.
Well, the fans can want RG3 all they want. He's not sucking still.
Yeah, which this works in the favor because I think Dallas can beat the Washington football team now with RG3 at the helm. But by the way, you remember how I was asking you yesterday who was a team that won 3 shutouts? You thought it was either the 85 Bears or the 76 Steelers.
85 Bears.
I looked it up and it was the 76 Steelers. They got 3 back to back to back. The more you know. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
So it was the Iron Curtain that was able to pull it off, but that was just something to note. The last thing, Bill, how did the Jets, before we get to our picks, how did the Jets make a good game against Minnesota?
How can the Jets make a good game out of Minnesota?
Yeah, it was close. And they were
I
using
don't
mostly
know.
field goals.
I really don't know.
I don't know, but whatever. Anyway, I liked how it ended, just running all the way to the end zone, like how Andre Johnson got that overtime winning touchdown against Jacksonville a couple of years ago. I I just enjoyed seeing Rex Ryan's crushed face. I bet you did too.
Yeah,
The one time you root for the Vikings. Anyway, Bill, it is time for the picks. Are you ready?
ready as I'll ever be.
Start us off with Thursday Night Football.
Thursday night, it is the Arizona Cardinals at the St. Louis Rams.
We made our picks for this, and I have upset of the week. Rams shutting out the Cardinals. 3 shutouts. I'm going for it, Bill.
Oh man. I think the Rams are going to destroy the Cardinals.
Rams on the way to the next Iron Curtain.
But I doubt that they're going to get 3 straight shutouts.
Who knows? The Cardinals suck at a road game.
They have a good young kicker, though. That's
True.
I think they might get 3 or 6 points, but it's only to be from the kicker.
I'm gonna hope. I want the Rams to be the best worst team in the league. They're on pace.
All right. Next up, the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Atlanta Falcons.
I have the Steelers taking care of business. You shouldn't lose to the Falcons. You shouldn't just lose to the Falcons, no matter where you're at.
I have the Pittsburgh Steelers defeating the Falcons
Mm-hmm.
easily.
Oh yeah.
Easily. Their defense is
If
not
the
good.
Steelers lose this game, it's just going to be tough securing that spot, especially a third.
Here we go. The game of the week. The Washington football team at the New York Giants.
Bill, that is not the game of the week. We know damn well what's the game of the week. I have the New York Giants beating the Washington football team 30-10.
I also have the New York Giants defeating the Washington football team. RG3 is going to throw 5 more interceptions, and then they're going to call him RG5.
To be fair, the only touchdown they'll get is when Eli Manning throws a pick 6, because he's going to throw 3 interceptions too. It's the Interception Bowl, Bill.
Yep.
Whoever
The battle of interceptions. RG3, who throws more interceptions than the number in his name? Or Peyton Manning, who throws Eli Manning, who throws as many interceptions as the letters in his first name.
Alright, so, next game, Bill.
The Miami Dolphins at the New England Patriots.
I have the Patriots. There's no way they're losing to the Dolphins twice. Bill Belichick is not going to take a loss to a division team twice. There's no way.
New England Patriots will easily beat the Dolphins. Tom Brady and them are playing much better than they were playing much earlier this year.
Oh yeah, there's no question about it. I mean, they're already on a good track. They've got an easy track to the playoffs and to the Super Bowl. But like I said, one more win for this team, and they will clinch a playoff spot.
Next up, the Oakland Raiders at the Kansas City Chiefs.
I would love if Oakland would do it again. Just basically turn Arrowhead Stadium into the second black hole. Just swallow up all the fans of Arrowhead. That would be fun, but I got the Chiefs.
I doubt that's not happen. The Chiefs fans will come out ravenous, and it's a revenge game. Andy Reid will have the team ready. This is for their playoff lives. They know it. They need to win. They will win.
They will win, as much as I don't want them to. I don't even like Andy Reid. He was the old Eagles coach. That's why I don't like him. He reminds me of when he in that new outfit in the Chiefs style coach outfit. He reminds me of Dr. Eggman for some reason. It's the mustache.
He has the master plan.
He
on
does
the
it.
sheet.
He's the Eggman. That's what he is. That's what I am.
Next, next up, the Houston Texans at the Indianapolis Colts.
If the Texans can win this game by running Aaron Foster and gouging the Colts, if you gouge the Colts with the run, and you just make Andrew Luck uncomfortable, make him unable to score, they can win this. This is a must-win game, and I'll give you another bit of trivia. Houston has never won in Indy ever. There has been no won games there. They've only beaten them 4 times in their history, and it was all in their own stadium. This is as good a time as any to try and make history for the franchise. But I just don't see it happening. I'm going to pick the Texans still, just to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I'm going to say the Colts will win. The Colts will win.
I got the Colts defeating the Texans. I just feel Andrew Luck's too much this year.
Yeah, it's going to take a big turnover by J.J. Watt or someone. Someone needs to make a turnover and take it back to the house. It's going to take plays like that to win, but unless
Next
again
up.
Arian Foster gouges the team. Go on, Bill.
All right. Okay. Next up, the Cincinnati Bengals at the Cleveland Browns.
The Browns will beat the Bengals twice, and Johnny Football is going to start well. The defense is also going to pick off. What's his name again? I forgot his name because he's that forgettable.
Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton. I forgot his name because he's not even a good playoff quarterback. I have the Browns winning. Actually, hold on a second. Again. Okay, I made my pick. I'm back. So, Bill, go for yours.
I've got the Cincinnati Bengals defeating the Cleveland Browns. I know that Manziel's starting, but I just feel like that'll provide opportunity for the Bengals defense, which is the strength of their team.
Maybe. I'd like to think that the Browns win is going to be similar to how the Texans beat the Browns, and that Manziel and the running backs are just going to tire out the Bengals defense. But, I mean, it's possible considering the Bengals actually kept the blue in check when they played the Texans,
right.
So who knows?
Next up, the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Baltimore Ravens.
It's an easy win for Baltimore. Hell, they might just need to play for the first half, and that's it. That's all of it.
Easy win for Ravens, I agree. I don't see how Jacksonville's going to win them at all.
Yeah. Let's go to the next.
Next up, Green Bay at Buffalo.
Upset of the week. This game has no importance to Green Bay aside from first and second place in the playoffs. So I'm gonna go with Buffalo. Jim Schwartz should know enough of Aaron Rodgers to maybe scrape something by for the defense, but I'll be honest. The Bills played a good game against the Broncos last week. I mean, the game. I mean, they tried to make a comeback in the second half. So who knows? They might be able to corner Aaron Rodgers.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Jim Schwartz will be carried off the field in celebration upon Aaron Rodgers' shoulders. And the Bills will win.
Nice. I agree. But again, this game will have no importance, and no matter what, it's really going to come down to that final game in Lambeau, Week 17.
Next up, Tampa Bay at Carolina.
The Carolina Panthers. Even though Cam Newton is out, most likely, considering what happened to his back, which I say, take care, man. That no one deserves to be in a car accident and get injured. I mean, at least you're still alive. So, but I think that if that quarterback, the backup, does well like he did in that first game in Week 1, who knows? The Panthers can be feisty again. I have the Panthers beating the Buccaneers.
Oh, damn.
What you got?
And I got the Panthers beating the Buccaneers. The Bucs defense is pretty terrible, and no matter who's the quarterback, they'll do well against them.
Yep.
Next up, another Game of the Week candidate, the New York Jets at the Tennessee Titans.
I've lost faith in the Titans. They're on the way to a 2-14 record, while the Jets getting their final win of the season, beating the Titans at Tennessee. The only game I'm going to support the Jets in.
And I've got the Tennessee Titans humiliating the New York Jets. Rex Ryan starts crying over a butterball turkey. Oh, I mean,
Oh, don't you know he's gonna
a loss.
actually here's what they need. What happens? Rex Ryan is going to cry so much, and because he's going to be sobbing loudly, and the players won't know what to do with him. Then the Titans come up and say, "You need to knock him out." They'll offer them a guitar, and smack him on the back of the head, knock him out for the ride back home.
El Kabong.
Kabong!
Next up, the Denver Broncos at San Diego Chargers.
I'm impressed you caught my reference, Bill, but good job. So, Denver Broncos at San Diego? Denver.
Denver,
Chargers have a shot at winning it because it's at home, but I just don't know. I think the Broncos are going to win out as well.
Yep, I gotcha. I'm right there with you. I got the Broncos going as well. It'll be a very easy match for them.
Fear not, San Diego, for all hope is not lost. You still have a shot.
And now the next game is the Minnesota Vikings at the Detroit Lions.
I'm going to go bold. Shutout. Another shutout. The Lions will shut them out in Detroit because how many points did they get when they last played? 3?
3.
It's going to be 0 now.
Oh, man.
In fact, Lions are going to get a safety.
Oh, jeez. I like that train of thought. I'm going Lions as well. I mean, it's a first-year quarterback against the best defense in the league.
I'll be honest, Teddy Bridgewater is starting to look fierce. Give him another year, and Bill, I think you might have a threat. Maybe.
Well, I'll believe it when I see it. I mean, Christian Ponder looked dangerous his first year, and then he just turned into a nothing.
I still find Derek Carr to be my favorite rookie quarterback because I think he will be good.
Derek Carr.
Give him weapons.
Derek Carr's he's good.
Give him more weapons, and you got a good team, Oakland.
Next up, the San Fran 49ers at the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh God, you guys, they're gonna get blown out to the point where they're gonna switch the game over to the Lions game. That's how bad it's gonna be. I have the Seattle Seahawks literally gonna do the Green Bay strategy where they put up so much points in the first half, they're gonna give up by the second half and they won't need to play anymore.
Seattle Seahawks easily defeat the 49ers. This will be Jim Harbaugh's final game in Seattle against that defense. He's going to be in college.
Probably.
Next up, the Sunday night game, the Dallas Cowboys at the Philadelphia Eagles.
Dallas, I'm putting faith in you one last time. You're an undefeated road team. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt as well and pick them because the Eagles team was just exposed. If they do not capitalize, especially with this long time of rest, because Romo above all else needed this rest, I see absolutely no excuse for them to make the playoffs if they can't win this. I'm going with Dallas one last time.
I'm going Philadelphia Eagles defeating Dallas in Philadelphia. I feel like the Eagles will be ticked off from that loss, and they're going to catch the Cowboys at the perfect time for them.
Well, Bill, that's what we thought about. I'm going to remind you, that's what we thought about the Broncos with the Rams, and you saw how that turned out. So anything can happen. This is the NFL.
Oh
Let's go
yeah.
to the last game, the most boring Monday
Final
night game.
Monday night, the New Orleans Saints at the Chicago Bears.
Chicago, rejoice. Your season isn't over yet. You've got one more win under your belt, and it's at home. I've got Chicago.
Oh man, and I also I, I got the New Orleans Saints. I mean, bleh.
Maybe, because apparently the Saints are better on the road now.
Correct.
So let's go with the Thursday night game in case we're not around for it. The most boring one in the whole year, and of course they save it for last.
The greatest, the the greatest game of all time. The Tennessee Titans at the Jacksonville
Objection:
Jaguars.
the Jets and the Titans game is the best game of all time, but it's gonna be. I'm going with Jacksonville. This is gonna be their next win, and Gus Bradley is going to make the team feel super excited for their final week, which will end in humiliation. But gotta celebrate the little moments, Bill. I've got the Jaguars winning.
I agree. I got the Jaguars winning as well.
Yep. So that's gonna do it for this week of football talks. Anything else you'd like to note, Bill?
Nothing much.
I'm liking this. I'm liking some of these games, and these games are so important from here on out. Anyway, it's time for us to take our leave. We will see you in week 16, where things are really coming down to the wire. So
Oh
have
man.
a great week of football, because I know I will. We'll see you guys next week. Later.